You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, March 22, 2017. Thank you for listening. Before starting, I would like to send my condolences to Jim Ross. Just before I started watching the show tonight, he reported on Twitter that his wife Jan has passed away after the accident she was in on Monday night. So our thoughts and prayers are with Jim and in this horrible time for him. And from there, I always feel crappy when I do something like that at the beginning, because then I've got to transition, to wrestling, which, while fun, is, I'm sure you all agree, it's a weird thing to transition to. Maybe I should start doing these at the end when things like this happen. But we started the show this week. Andrade, Cien Almas, once again going one-on-one with ONeill Lorcan. These two have wrestled at least 4 times from my memory, and Almas has won every time. The matches have been fine, but nothing special until this week. This built to a pretty damn good match here. The match started with Almas trying to avoid Lorcan like the plague, until Lorcan tried to dive off of the ring steps outside the ring, but Almas caught him and dropped him with a power slam to get the heat. Lorcan made a hot comeback and almost got the win with a running blockbuster, but almost kicked out. Almas at one point blocked the half-and-half suplex, but got sent flying out of the ring after a series of European uppercuts. But this time Lorcan didn't give Almas a breather and dove off the top rope with a senton. Back in the ring, Oni hit 3 running corner forearms, feigned exhaustion, and then hit 2 more running forearms. He hit the half-and-half suplex, and I was just riding for the win when Almas kicked out. He continued to build. We had a brief flurry, which included a back handspring kick to Lorcan's head, and almost hit a vicious running knee in the corner and picked up the win with the hammerlock DDT. Really, really good match. And, almost every NXT for the last 2 months has had, a pretty damn good match, starting back to, not the Pete Dunne match, but the Tyler Bate match about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Every week since then has had a really good match. We got promos during the show from both DIY and the Revival, building up the triple threat elimination match for the NXT Tag Team titles at NXT TakeOver Orlando. Shockingly, we didn't get a Paul Ellering promo, but, the promos, I'm sure in your head you can imagine what they said, because both teams, DIY and the Revival, said the same thing they've always said. DIY said they traveled the world together, how they were never teammates before coming to NXT, and they got the opportunity in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and then they built on that and became NXT Tag Team Champions. Revival said they were the best team in wrestling, and pointed out that they were the first team to lay out the Authors of Pain, which they did 2 or 3 weeks ago with Shatter Machine. We got another video package for Aleister Black, and that's not the last time we would hear from Aleister Black tonight. Hashtag foreshadowing. We finally got a video on Billie Kay. You might remember 2 weeks ago, she had her match with Ember Moon, and they did the injury angle where Ember hit the Eclipse, and Billie sold it as a neck injury, and that a thing afterwards. Then last week, they promised an update on Billie Kay, but instead ignored Billie Kay entirely and dealt with Ho Ho Lun being bullied by Almas. This week, we're shown close-ups of the Eclipse and how Billie Kay hurt her neck and had to, she had to valiantly carry herself to the back. And instead, we got a tweet from Liv Morgan predicting that Ember Moon, if she hits the Eclipse, will win the title match at NXT TakeOver Orlando. I'm not sure if this is just becoming a running joke or this is what they mean to do, but, it's just getting funny at this point. Asuka wrestled a woman named Priscilla D'Amica. Priscilla D'Amica did not get an entrance, did not get a ring introduction. Asuka has been undefeated for 17 months, has been champion for just under a year. And if I need to tell you that Priscilla did not win this match, you've not watched a lot of wrestling in your life. Asuka was so unconcerned that she cut a promo before the match saying, "Ember Moon, this is your head," before kicking Priscilla's clean off her shoulders. Priscilla got in one offensive maneuver. It was a slap, and that was the worst thing she could have done because Asuka beat the holy living piss out of her. Asuka kicked her some more, kicked her again, kicked her in the leg, kicked her in the arm, kicked her in the hip, kicked her in the butt, kicked her in the knee, kicked her in the head. Went for the pin, 1, 2, and Asuka pulled her up and refused the 3. And then we went from kicks to knees. Asuka kneed her in the stomach. Asuka kneed her in the arm. Asuka kneed her in the head. Asuka kneed her everywhere that you could possibly be kneed. And then we finally got the Asuka lock and the submission. Asuka did not want to break the submission hold afterwards, but finally the referee was waving his arms around. He was waving them to and fro, and finally Asuka let go of the hold. Asuka cut a promo in Japanese. I'd like to point out I've been watching New Japan Pro Wrestling diligently for 4 years, and I have not yet learned a word of Japanese, so she could have been saying some horrible, horrible things, and I have no idea. Next week, we're getting a triple threat preview of the triple threat elimination match in NXT TakeOver. Akam, Johnny Gargano, and Dash Wilder. The winner of that match will more than likely not win the NXT Tag Team titles in the triple threat match. We then got what was... a lot of people are going to like this video package more than me. Maybe it's because I've been spoiled by just a series of really good video packages on NXT over the last few years. But we got a lengthy Bobby Roode Shinsuke Nakamura video package. It probably went close to 5 minutes. It built up everything from a year ago to NXT TakeOver Dallas when they both debuted. They showed pictures of both men when they were younger, including the photo I like to bring up every time they show it, which was Bobby Roode in his younger days in TNA as a part of Team Canada with Scott D'Amore and his Canadian flag on a hockey stick in the background. But it's a very good video package. I'm sure WWE put it on YouTube. Search for it. It's very good. And, I mean, unfortunately, we're spoiled not only by good wrestling, but by good production. Ty Dillinger, No Way Jose, and Roderick Strong cut a promo about their six-man tag against Sanity tonight, saying that this is the first time Sanity does not have the numbers advantage, which I guess could be considered foreshadowing. However, again, they had the same exact six-man tag a month ago. Heavy Machinery, Tucker Knight, and Otis Dozovic are re-debuting next week. Last week, Andrea DeMarco interviewed Cassius Ono as Cassius was leaving the arena regarding his loss. Suddenly, the Drifter appeared and sung that Ono will never win the title. Ono said that Samson needs an ass-kicking. Samson said Ono doesn't belong here. And this led to a challenge for a loser leaves NXT match, which was accepted. I imagine it'll be a takeover, but that wasn't said. We got a promo with Andrade Cien Almas in Espanol. Well, 90% in Espanol anyway. And the point of it is, in 10 nights at NXT TakeOver Orlando. He will go one-on-one with the debuting Aleister Black, and he basically said that he will make Black believe in Andrade Cien Almas. Main event time! Sanity in a 6-man tag team match against Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, and No Way Jose. This was a wild brawl at the start, it was a wild brawl at the end, and in between, Eric Young avoided Ty Dillinger like, the plague. I've said that already, but I'll say it again. And the match itself was fine when the bell rang, but, was not nearly as exciting as the brawl before and the brawl after. They got the heat on No Way Jose. And when Jose made the hot tag to Roderick Strong, of all people, this led to a giant 6-way brawl. The referee threw it out, declared the match a double disqualification. The babyfaces got the best of the post-match until Nikki Cross ran in and jumped on Ty Dillinger's shoulders. Ty was setting up for the tiebreaker on Eric Young, and Dillinger was just holding Cross on his shoulders when all of a sudden Heidi Lovelace, who will probably have a different name, ran in, debuted, and took her out. The babyfaces sent Sanity packing as the show ended, and I guess technically, yes, the numbers were evened out here. And so that will do it for next week. I'm sorry, for this week. Next week, it is already the go-home show for WrestleMania weekend. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you again in 7 days.